Hello guys. This is a video this was a video that I did for a very old podcast when I used to do something to do with video games and mental health. But with Mental Health Week coming up, well, not really coming up, but I wanted to do another mental health, like a video regarding mental health. So I wanted to tell you stuff about anxiety and mental health, obviously being a massive topic for people. Not just me, but for professionals or people who want to learn more about it and stuff like that. So I did a podcast a long time ago, with myself and two of my college friends. So I know it's overdue. Because the script says October. But I wanted to re-upload it. So if I say October, this is just a disclaimer. If I say October instead of November, it's because at the time of writing this, at the time I wrote this script, it was October. Because I was originally going to be planning to do this video in October, I couldn't do it in October because I was busy, so with other stuff. So onto the video. Hello everyone, Delta here. This October is World Mental Health Awareness Week. I'm trying to spread awareness to you all about mental health. It can affect not just about anyone, not just young people, from anxiety to depression, eating disorders to agoraphobia, the fear of being in situations where escape may be impossible, and other phobias. Phobia. The word comes from the Greek word phobos, which means fear or horror. Hydrophobia, for example, literally means fear of water. When someone has a phobia, it means that they experience intense terror of a certain object or situation. People may ask me this kind of question. These kind of questions come up to me in every different situations. Like when it comes to anxiety, some people say to me, what am I afraid of? So what sort of phobias do I suffer from? I suffer from multiple phobias, the most common being spectrophobia, fear of wasps, and trypanophobia, the fear of injections or situations that may involve those injections. And also I have severe dental anxiety, also known as SDA. I know people say to me that because dental anxiety is a thing, because it can go from moderate to severe. My case isn't severe, is severe. What are the common symptoms of your anxiety? Well, it's kind of hard to pinpoint what they are exactly, but I go through multiple panic attacks. I feel shaking in my arms and legs. muscle tension and the fight or flight response. My mind triggers the flight option all the time as I can't fight it, as in when it gets really like way too strong. When it's like, if the level is like a 1 or a 9, if it's like a 1 or a 2, I can manage it. But when it's like way too high, I just can't manage it. I will explain the levels later in a minute. My anxiety is judged in the level of its intensity. What are the levels? So like I said earlier, I was going to say something about what the levels are. This is what I mean by the levels. So the levels are as follows. Level 1 being manageable. So this means that I feel the speed of my heart rapidly beating, that I just can't control it. So my heart is just like faster than normal. Level 2 being slightly harder to manage. This is when I can't control my breathing. So basically, when I'm just usually when it's a level 1, I can like manage my breathing, but with level when it's level 2, it gets harder to control. Level 3, getting even harder to manage. So this is when I take out my stress ball or my music. So when it gets to a level 3 or a 4, a 3 or 4, it's kind of difficult, because usually when I was in college, I always carry a stress ball because of my anxiety levels, because my levels can be unpredictable sometimes. Or if I don't have my stress ball, I use my headphones and my phone for music. Level 3, getting even harder to manage. So this is basically when I know I said this before, but this is when I have my music in at high levels, so I can listen to it while I'm going through that situation. Level 4, panic attack, closing in very fast. This is when I listen to my music and squeeze my stress ball. This is when I just get really stressed, basically. Level 5, it's getting there, but it hasn't struck me hard enough. So this is when this specific situation, I am getting, well, the panic hasn't settled in. But it hasn't hit hard. It's hitting me, but it's not hitting as hard. Level 6, I am trying to manage it, but it's getting more impossible to push back. So this is also something to do with like my mental battles. That specific thing or situation is getting worse, and I'm starting to lose control. Level 7, starting to black out within my mind. So this is when I try to run away, but if it's like one of those situations where I just can't run away because it has to be done according to medical professionals or whatever, like if it's like to do with like dentists or doctor visits, it's kind of hard to control, basically. Starting to black out within my mind. That's level 7. Level 8, blacking out is getting too much, can't push it back at all, getting too strong to withstand. So I have been in those situations where my anxiety levels have been reached a 8, at level 8, so around 7 or 8, but mainly an 8. This is when I'm very close to having a severe panic attack, but it's when it's basically when I say that almost everything fails, but usually to control a level 8, I usually use my music, really, or something to distract me, like something to hold on to, you know, hopefully push it back to a level 1. This one is a lot worse. This one has happened to me multiple times. Level 9. OMG, get me out of here. I can't take much more of it. Flee now. So this is where... So level 9 is basically what happens at a doctor's visit or a dentist visit or an intense tournament or whatever. Like I had recently, I had a severe panic attack at one point because one of them was a full court singles match, and because of my inability to move, like I was on losing points, but that was only because of the mental struggles. I was trying to push it back, but sometimes it was just getting far too strong. But you know, so on to the methods. What do I do to push back my panic attacks? I do a few things to counter my panic attacks. Here are a few methods I take to push back my panic attacks. Number 1, I drink green tea with honey in the drink to sweeten the taste, or I use miso soup. Either way will work. Number 2, listen to Zen music on YouTube, mobile phone, or Spotify. My favorite song being Flower by Coke and Gumi. I also have another favorite song by that same artist called Daylight. So those two songs that I mentioned, Flower and Daylight. Flower and Daylight, those two songs work at the same level. Number 3, I usually hug and squeeze a couple of plushies, especially my shiny Rayquaza plushie. He helps me by giving me a sense of comfort and puts me at ease. So, like I said, something about my shiny Rayquaza plushie. Usually at the dentist or doctors, I usually have this guy with me, with the other one, the green Rayquaza. He usually helps me by giving me a sense of comfort and hope, and usually calms me down if usually some things fail. The most basic things fail. Number 4, I like to play a couple of games on my Nintendo Switch, my favorite being Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, my mains being Dark Pit, who was my main in Smash 4, the previous title before Ultimate, and Cloud Strife. Knocking out a CPU fighter, a computer fighter, is oddly satisfying. The sound of an opponent being launched and knocked out makes me happy. Like I said, I used to play Smash Bros. Ultimate quite a lot when it first launched. I got it. I used to play Ultimate quite a lot, but because of the DLCs and that kind of stuff, like the downloadable content for Mario Kart and Smash Bros. It's very hard to say. It's really hard to say. When it comes to Smash Bros, but it's a great game. Number 5. I like to think about my favorite celebrity and picture in my mind. Who is your favorite celebrity? She goes by the name of Davina McCall. She continues to inspire me since I ran for my favorite charity, Sports Relief, a few years ago. Like a few years ago, I'm not entirely sure what the year was because it was way back in my past. I was invited to run for Sports Relief. How I knew that I was selected was because I had a letter delivered to me it was written by Davina McCall at that point. Because it was a long time ago, I don't have the letter anymore, unfortunately, but the memory of the letter being delivered to me still lives on in my head. So yeah. Anyway, I hope you learned about mental health and my personal experience of my own mental health. Thank you very much thank you for watching. This is Delta's Rage 97 signing off. Peace.